And welcome to our channel, and it seems like it's been a while since I've done a video, but I know it hasn't. It's just been so much going on with my wife and getting her back to recovery and dealing with hospitals and doctors and nurses, and I've already had to get nasty with the hospital due to some, in my opinion, piss poor follow-up care from the hospital. So I had to put my sheriff's badge on and get real nasty with them. But we got it straightened out. You know, it's a shame. You shouldn't have to resort to being nasty to someone just to get them to do what they're being paid to do to begin with. So, but apparently you do. Okay, let's see, we are up to, I don't remember what step I was on in my last video. I know I wasn't very far, but we're up to step 15 right now on Tara's Lotus. We got the wheels on it, and thankfully it'll sit on all four, so we really got lucky there, because I had to glue the pins to the center of those wheels and basically design those wheels just like the original wheels were designed. It came with the kit, so I was just kind of eyeballing it and hoped to hell that all four pins were exactly center of the wheel, and so far we are really good. So anyway, we got the wheels on it. The wheels I painted with Vallejo chrome silver, and I wasn't happy with it. Didn't like it at all. I wanted a little bit more brilliance to the hubcaps in the center here. So what I did was I took my punches for like leather or gaskets or whatever you want to use on them. I cut out a small section of bare metal foil and used a punch that was the same diameter as the hubcaps, and I punched out basically circles for the hubcaps, and peeled off the bare metal foil so it would fit perfectly on the wheels, and that's how we got the hubcaps that are a little bit more brilliant than the Vallejo paint. So obviously we did that 4 times, and I like the wheels much better with bare metal foil on the wheels. Of course, the trim rings are still the Prismacolor markers, so that's that. As you can see, we got the frame and a floor pan. We got the engine compartment done up. We got the carburetors on. Those are bare metal. Those are photo etch. There we go. I'd spit it out there eventually. Those are all photo etch, the carburetor assembly. Well, the flutes are metal, and then we have some photo etch here on the carb on the bodies. So it's a little bit of metal, a little bit of photo etch, a little bit of plastic on the carburetors there. So we got that all done, and we got the fuel cells, or the fuel tanks, gas tanks in there, one on each side. Those were done with Vallejo steel, just plain old steel, shot through the airbrush. The interior I had to guess at, because well, not really guess at, somewhat kind of sort of guess at. I knew the seats were black based on some screen captures and some episodes I watched where her car was featured a little bit more prominently. So I knew the seats were black for sure. I knew her steering wheel was black from some shots, and I knew the door panel was all black based on a couple scenes where she's getting out, which you can clearly see she had a little bit of trouble getting out of the car. But so I knew for sure the door panels were black. The only thing I could never get a glimpse of was her dashboard. So what I did on the dashboard is I used a picture of a 68 Lotus, an S2 that was up for auction. And I just used the pictures of that for the dashboard and just copied that. So some of the S2s had the wood grain going all the way down the center console, some didn't. I just went with the style that didn't. It only had the wood grain on the dash front. So we used the decals for the gauges that came with the kit. And that's really about it. All the trim work is done with a Prismacolor in the interior. That's all Prismacolor, so that's pretty much the interior. A pretty simple design and simple, not a whole lot going on inside there. We took a feature on the seats, only the outer edges. We left the center flat to give it a little bit of contrast between the seat insets and the outer part of the seat. So we got a little bit of contrast going on there. The center console I didn't do anything with. I left it all black. The only thing I got left to do for the interior is put the shifter on. The shifter on the picture I'm using as a reference, the shifter was all black except for the knob that was wood grain, so I'm gonna do the same. I don't know what I did with the shifter. Hope I didn't lose it. Oh, here it is right here. So we're gonna do the same thing with that, and we'll paint the knob of the shifter wood. I'm using Model Master, where's it at? Model Master wood for that, no, for the dashboard and for the shifter. I will be using that. Here's the block wood I used to make my hubcaps. You can see the punch marks from the punch. Use a little bit of Solvaset on the decals, just a little. You don't want to use a whole lot of this stuff on Tamiya decals because it'll tear them up pretty good. But I did use a little just to get them down in there because they're slightly, the carrier film is slightly bigger than the gauges, so you have to kind of get it down inside the gauge. And having a little bit of Solvaset on there kind of helps to push the decal down inside the gauge where it should be and not on top of the gauge. These here were recessed pretty good. The ones up here weren't much of an issue, but the speedometer, and I believe it's a tack, was an issue, so Solvaset kind of took care of that. So that's all I have to say about the Lotus. That's as far as I got with my wife and all. I did this all in one night when she was resting pretty good. Got a lot of steps done, and I hope maybe this weekend, if she's doing a little better, I can get her settled in there to where she's either watching TV or just kind of maxing and relaxing. I can go on to step 16 and 17, which is putting the glass in the body, and then we stick the this assembly here inside the body. So that's that. Got anything else? No, I did get some kits in, but we'll do that in another video. That's for another video, another day. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're doing okay. My wife's doing okay. So, all right, I'm just yammering. I'm going on. Okay. Thanks for hanging in there with me. For those that left comments in my last video about my wife's health, prayers and stuff, thank you for that, or it's really appreciated. And I'm happy to say she's doing okay, considering. And hopefully we can get back to finishing up the Lotus and getting it looking spiffy and go from there. We have a lot of things to do this year. Alright guys, take care. We'll see you.